Here is Kyle Dubas on the phone with us. How are you, Kyle?
Good. How are you guys today?
Good. So, what made you guys switch from sending Nylander to the Swedish Elite League for the entire season to coming over for the last half of the American Hockey League campaign?
Well, I think there were a few factors that played into it. The first being, there's a deadline of January the 16th set down by the IIHF to transfer players back onto either your NHL or American League roster and reserve list. So that deadline certainly spurred some action from us. In addition to the fact that Moto had done a very good job with Willie throughout the first half of the season. He was playing nearly 20 minutes a night. He was playing in most situations and was developed very well there, combined with how he played the World Juniors. And following that, we always want to be adapting rather than just being set in one thing or the other. Following the World Juniors, we sat down as a staff and began to look at his situation and look at where the Marlies were, and thought it would be an excellent fit for Willie and his development to come back over based on where he was at and how he was developing already with Moto.
There's another player, a European player, who didn't do the same thing in the sense that he didn't start the year in Europe, but David Pastrnak with the Bruins organization, who did start the year in Providence. They considered sending him back to Sweden. They decided to keep him in Providence instead, and he decided that as well. And his development has been accelerated. Did that play into this, or using that as an example, Kyle? Did you look at this and say, you know what, it's helped accelerate his development? We could see it happening with Will as well.
Oh, there's Pastrnak and there's also Julius Honka, the Dallas first-round pick that were both playing in the American League as 18-year-old players. We didn't necessarily look at those two. I think in our case, William is certainly different in a number of respects, the way that he plays and so on and so forth than the two of them. Absolutely, though, seeing the way that they had played once they were here, gives you some confidence as an organization that an 18-year-old can handle the American League, whereas previously it had been thought that maybe that wasn't the best spot for them. And I think that's to where the American League is going and the jobs that those two organizations have done with those players.
So, Kyle, the first thing a Leaf fan wonders, I suppose, is does he find his way to the big club before this season is over?
No.
Flat out no, regardless of circumstance?
No.
Why not?
And why is that?
We need to be patient with William, and I and our entire organization fully understand that now each day and every time he has a good game, there will be questions, as the same as it was a few weeks ago when Connor Brown was named to the All-Star team and was named Rookie of the Month. We started to get some questions as to whether others were getting called up and not Connor, and we really need to do what's best for these players in their development, not to make a splash by bringing them up when they've had short-term success on the ice. It's ensuring that they're able to come up and not just squeeze a few games out of them and send them back, but bring them up when they're ready to play in the NHL and sustain solid play at the NHL level for the duration. And that's one thing that's extremely important to us, and one thing that we are not going to relent on is abiding by that.
When you put everything into perspective and what you said about him and the treatment and the play and the mileage that Moto got out of him this first half of the season, is he ahead of pace then to be recalled?
I think it speaks to how much responsibility Moto gave him, Darren, and if they played that center, they played him most nights over 20 minutes per night, which was certainly excellent.
Did you get a chance to speak? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. And then, from our perspective, that just, because of the job they had done with his development, it just led us to reevaluate where we were at with him and say, maybe based on how he's played there and based on the job that their staff had done, maybe it was time to reevaluate and bring him over to the Marlies.
So was there a lot of this discussion, Kyle, during the World Juniors, while he was here? And if so, how excited was or is he to get this next step, this next opportunity?
I think from our perspective, we've had some discussions here with Willie and Willie's agent in the past few days about it, and I think obviously he is very excited. But at the same time, it is going to be an adjustment for him, and certainly his play at the World Juniors led us to get excited about him. I think everybody excited about him. He came over and played very well, but it also showed us a lot of the things that we feel he's going to need to work on if he's going to continue to expedite his development. And I think that's more than anything one of the reasons why we're making this move at this time, to bring him over, work on the areas of his game that we feel are important, get him, there's a lot of debate out there whether a player in the North American ice, if they haven't played there, whether it's a massive adjustment or not. And that does play into our decision as well, is to bring him over and have him start playing in North America, in the American League, in the same system that we use with the Leafs as we do with the Marlies, and have him start rolling from there.
Is this kind of the perfect storm, Kyle, that he gets to start the year with Modo where he was comfortable, and I think that's where he wanted to be, and now he gets half a season over here at the Marlies? And then in addition to that, what are the areas of the game that you believe he has to work on?
I think with any 18-year-old player, Scott, he needs to continue to work on his ability in the defensive zone to suppress offense of the opposition. And he'd done a pretty good job of that in what we had seen in Sweden, and it's going to be a whole different animal here that he's going to need to continue to hone and develop, as with any player at that age. And then I think the main thing we want to see him do is continue to, of course, for an 18-year-old, is to just continue to get stronger and work on his ability to protect the puck and maintain possession of it under physical duress. And with our staff here, we feel we're well equipped to do that and move him ahead. And on your first question of whether it's a perfect storm, we certainly believe that it is, and thus we're making that move at this time.